Hello, and welcome to this year's Discover the Difference. I'm Tamara McKinney, Board President and Alumni Parent. It is an absolute pleasure to welcome you all to tonight's festivities, a first in Wolf's 22-year history. While this doesn't look like a typical Discover the Difference event, it feels just as special, since in typical Wolf School fashion, we have found a way to come together and celebrate as a community. And after quite the year, there is certainly a lot to celebrate. When working on the plan to return to full in-person learning this fall, I knew that Anna and her team were facing quite the challenge. As a business owner, I all too well understood how difficult the process of reopening and ensuring the health and safety of your community can be. But more importantly, as an alumni parent, I understood how critical it was for Wolf School students to get back to the classroom. Simply put, the Wolf School changed my daughter Emily's life. When we first came to Wolf, I knew this was where Emily belonged. She was not only understood, but welcomed and encouraged. I remember leaving that first visit with so much hope. And that is what Wolf has done for so many since opening their doors in 1999. It gives parents, students, and families hope. From their first tour of Wolf to watching their child cross the stage at graduation, Wolf gives parents who have faced a long struggle fighting for their children's education hope that there is a school that sees their children as individuals. Wolf gives students who have struggled academically hope and confidence in their own abilities and potential. The Wolf School works to give complex learners and their families hope in a better future where children are understood for the learners that they are and given the tools and support they need to succeed. The Wolf School has a transformative effect on the lives of children who would be otherwise overlooked in the public school setting. The hands-on lessons, the connections between students and their classroom team, the individualized support are all what makes up the Wolf School education, all of which needed to happen in person. Anna and the rest of the staff at Wolf understood how critical a return to in-person learning was, and again, in true Wolf fashion, they found a way. And now as we're approaching the end of the school year, I am thrilled that the Wolf School has been able to open their doors in September and stay in person all year long. In a year filled with uncertainty, the Wolf School once again gave parents hope and a much needed break from distance learning. Wolf provided a safe place for complex learners to continue to receive the education they deserve and provided consistency for students and families during a tumultuous year. I know I speak for so many when I express my gratitude to the staff and faculty of the Wolf School for not only making this year possible, but making it look effortless. We are so grateful for what you do each day. Discover the Difference is a celebration of our community, and I'm truly honored to be part of such a determined, passionate, and strong community. Before I end, I want to take an opportunity to give a very special thank you. This night would not be possible without the incredible support from our community sponsors. These businesses and families have stepped up in the most remarkable way to show their support for the Wolf School, complex learners, and their families. In a challenging year for so many, I am truly in awe of these sponsors for their willingness to help and their commitment to education. So from the parents, staff, students, and entire Wolf School community, we thank you.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you I have not met, I'm Anna Johnson, head of school. On behalf of everyone at Wolf, welcome and thank you for joining our 19th Discover the Difference. I hope you are settling into your couches and ready to enjoy a night of celebration. This live stream event is certainly a first for Wolf. While we can't wait to be back in person next year, we know this night is going to be really special. When I look back on this year, I think, how did we even make it to this point? A year ago, our building was closed, our students were learning from their kitchens, our classroom teams were making complicated lesson plans without seeing each other for months. It was weird, scary, and exhausting. It was a world turned upside down. How did we get from then to now? Seriously, how did we do it? I know all of you have faced challenges and hardships in your own lives. You each have your own story to tell. Tonight, I'll tell you ours. And I say it's a story because stories are powerful things. When we tell stories, we experience them again, we commit them to memory, and they become part of who we are. The story of the Wolf School's strength these past 13 months is worth remembering. Our story begins in the early days of the pandemic. While so many schools were figuring out whether they had the capability to host any live virtual sessions with students or to just post a list of assignments, our teams were brainstorming how to make every lesson's live session better than the one before. Unless you lived through it with us, you can't really appreciate the time, effort, and energy our staff devoted to building the most robust online platform possible. I played the role of head cheerleader, but our teams did all the work. They researched, they shared ideas, they experimented, they got a little silly, and what they built in just 2 weeks over our spring break, shifting an incredibly complex curriculum into a radically new format, was, in my opinion, one of the great distance learning programs in America. We called it Wolf School Connected, and honestly, it was amazing. I would spend my days at home watching my own children stare blankly into their Chromebooks for hours, and I would zoom into Wolf classrooms to see screens filled with students dancing and singing, building their own obstacle courses, and laughing and running through their yards on scavenger hunts. I can't even describe to you how proud I felt to be part of this community. I have so many wonderful memories from those early days. I remember Meg, one of our teaching assistants, teaching with her infant son on her lap in between naps and mealtime. I remember our 8th grade teacher, Sarah, who taught her 3-year-old daughter how to let her dog out so she wouldn't have to stop teaching while she was with her class. The strength it took for our teachers to push themselves into unfamiliar places and to do it all with a smile, at least while the camera was on, was one of the great accomplishments in the 22-year history of the Wolf School. Our theme is strength, and our families showed it too. When our building closed, we worked extremely hard to build a distance learning program that did not rely on families. But the reality is that families became critical to our success. Whether it was just preparing all the materials, reinforcing the learning, or just keeping their child on task, we could not have done this without them. I remember a lower school parent calling me a day after online learning, saying, "I'm not sure who's more exhausted right now, me or my son?" Next came the summer of 2020, when all of society was first learning how to actually live during a pandemic. I remember gathering any information I could about the virus. I signed up for science blogs I never knew existed and listened to them while going for walks to clear my head and stay sane. I read almost everything the Department of Health published about COVID-19. I watched every Gina Raimondo press conference, either live or on delay, sometimes late into the night. I attended every virtual meeting with colleagues from both Rhode Island and Massachusetts to make sure I didn't miss any bit of information. I may have spoken to our school nurse, Jen, more than I spoke to my own husband and kids. As a team, we decided even before the end of last school year that we were going to be ready to open in the fall, in the event that we actually could. While many school leaders spent the summer worrying about how they could possibly reopen their buildings, believe me, I sat through enough of those meetings to know this was true. We worked the entire summer to reinvent 215 Ferris Avenue. We ordered box fans and air purifiers before many school districts knew how important they were. We cut the building into separate zones for each pod grouping. We installed touchless faucets and touchless hand sanitizing stations. We ordered cleaning supplies, and then we ordered more cleaning supplies. We redesigned our classrooms. We decided what bathroom stall each pod would be assigned to. We hired additional staff to help with all of our coverage needs. All in, we spent over $200,000 outfitting this building and making staffing adjustments so that students and staff could come back safely in September. At a time when so many organizations were wondering if it was possible, we were reacting because we knew it was necessary. And though we may have made it look easy, it definitely was not. Our staff, and especially our maintenance and administrative team, showed incredible strength, not just in physical effort, but in the fortitude to know there was only one right answer for the Wolf School. We had to reopen for students. They needed us, and we needed to be here for them. By the middle of August, our building was ready to open. Something else I am extremely proud of. Our full staff returned from their summer break, and we had a new school waiting for them. They were nervous. Actually, so was I. I remember trying to welcome everyone back and assuring them it was going to be okay. I remember thinking, how on earth are we supposed to build community and do team building when we can't even stand near each other? The answer was simple. We had to come up with new ways of doing just about everything. There are so many things worth remembering from the past year, but that first day of school is unforgettable. We were one of the first schools anywhere to reopen to students, and the reactions as students returned for the first time in 6 months was priceless. One of our youngest students told his teacher he missed her so much he wanted to jump into her arms to give her a hug. It was a remarkable moment to hear laughter and chatter fill our hallways that had been so silent for so many months. Some of our parents faced the anguish of deciding whether to send their child back to school in the fall. There were understandable concerns about whether it was going to be safe for the student and the rest of their family. No matter what a family decided, and we did have a couple of students who needed to remain virtual this year, our goal was to provide the best education possible for every student. I remember talking with one of our middle school families over the summer who was really unsure about sending their son back into the building. But when they asked him how he felt, he made it clear how strongly he wanted to come back to school. For those parents, his feelings trumped any fears they had, and they trusted that this was all going to be okay. On that first day of school, I do remember seeing a lot of big smiles from the parents. I remember one mom telling me this was the best day ever. Turns out, not all parents were broken up to see their complex learners go back to school, to go anywhere for that matter. In fact, I had a pretty good sense of that over the summer from the ones who were secretly emailing me or calling me and practically begging me to reopen school. You know who you are, but I won't name any of you, don't worry. In the fall, the Wolf School was open 5 days a week. Students were happy, parents were thrilled, teachers were beginning to relax and feel confident. And then came the virus. COVID cases were on the rise everywhere, and our school was no exception. Though I kept this a secret from most people, I honestly never thought we would stay open longer than a couple of months. Of course, we wanted to, but I came to school every day worried that the virus or the safety protocols would shut us down. I remember thinking, I hope we can stay open till October, and we did. And then I remember thinking, I hope we can make it till Thanksgiving, and we did. And then came the week before our winter break. Things were starting to unravel as we got to that break. I remember wondering if we'd be able to reopen after the holidays. But things got better. The case count stabilized, people on quarantine never contracted the virus, and we were able to return to school on time with almost everyone back in the building. Of course, the drama wasn't over. There were so many close contact discoveries throughout January. My heart would sink anytime I got a phone call or email from a parent or staff member. I now understand the panic a parent feels when they get a phone call from us. Every time one of those that happened, it was like our own fire drill, kicking off a round of consults with Jen, our school nurse, phone calls with teachers and families, and the anxiety of telling another student or teacher he or she could not come to school for a couple of weeks. Which brings me to our students and the strength they have shown through all of this. For a group of kids where flexible thinking does not always come easily, Our Wolf students have shown amazing flexibility and resiliency. In many ways, they have been the most amazing of all. I know from the beginning, when we were planning for the return of our students this past summer, that they would navigate through this better than any of the adults. Masks, rules, new schedules, they handled all of it. I remember one middle school student talking about the new protocol saying, if it keeps us at Wolf and safe, it's all worth it. Our students were just so happy to be back in school, back in the classroom with their teachers and friends, that they were willing to do whatever they needed to do. In reality, they helped the adults. I remember staff telling me that they were motivated to make this all work because if the students could do this, then the adults should too. We are so proud of them. In fact, for so many of the students, this has not been a missed year. Far from it. Instead, it has been a year of growth and development, both socially and academically. In the last 13 months, many of our Wolf students have gained more independence than they ever would have in a typical year. Parents told us that their children were learning to manage their own schedules, becoming more independent with homework, and even making their own lunches. Honestly, our students have made so many gains that none of us would have expected. Strong as we are as a community, Wolf has also had a lot of help along the way. Throughout this past year, our board has offered a guiding hand and many hours of simply listening and offering whatever encouragement was needed. They've been invaluable to me and our leadership team. They understood that what we were doing was difficult, and they have been there for Wolf every step of the way, including being part of our virtual staff meetings or writing notes to faculty and staff to offer their gratitude and appreciation. And we've had unexpected, surprising, and uplifting moments. I remember getting an email one day from someone I've never met before, from Igus Inc. down the street, a plastics company in our neighbor on Peirce Ave. Rick, the vice president, wanted to drop off 200 face shields for our school. And one of our very own Wolf families also provided the school with gallons of chemical-free, safe hand sanitizer. Thank you to the Altman family. Throughout the year, I've also heard from a number of Wolf alumni. I remember one past student, Ariana, sending me a note with words of encouragement and appreciation for the teachers at Wolf having the courage to get back to school for the sake of the students. From messages to donations, we've been so grateful to see our community rise up to support, encourage, and motivate us to keep going through a challenging year. So here we are today, having faced and accomplished so much. I'm sorry you are all not here with me in person, but I'm confident we will be again soon enough. As a community, we have so much to be proud of. We responded quickly to an adversity none of us had ever faced before. We built an impressive virtual platform and sustained it for months. We remade our building and we kept our beloved school open every single day this school year. And we did it together, as every member of our community has stepped up this year. I have been reminded each and every day that we really are stronger together. Well, you have all listened to me speak long enough. There is so much to reflect on as we think about the amazing strength of this incredible community. But you don't just have to take my word for it. We have a short film for all of you that gives some of our staff, students, and families a chance to reflect on this past year and celebrate everyone who has helped to get through an unprecedented year, one that we will surely never forget. Enjoy.
When schools began to close last March, I was terrified.
I didn't know what I was gonna do if I couldn't go back.
Didn't know when it would start up again.
Didn't know if it was going to be 14 days and we'd be right back in, or what was happening.
Sad, scared, unhappy.
The fear was, how is our son going to get through his day and actually progress academically, socially and emotionally in an environment where he's looking at a screen all day?
As soon as we got back from break, the kids started learning remotely, so the school really didn't skip a beat.
We spent every minute of every day for those 2 weeks figuring out how to basically take our program, create a new program, and make it virtual.
I was so impressed by what they put together. It really felt like as close a facsimile as possible to what the children get at school.
It was remarkable how quickly the team was able to pull everything together to keep our kids learning to the best of their ability, given the difficult circumstances.
I knew that it would be okay, but I didn't know how long it was going to last, and I was hoping that there was an end point in sight.
It was critical to get students back into the classroom and back in person because so much of what we do here relies on those in-person interactions and hands-on learning.
I think the kids were able to hang on as long as they did because it was kind of new and interesting. But coming back, it would have been detrimental if we had to come back and it was distance learning.
I struggled as an adult, and it was really hard to watch our children struggle sitting there in front of the computer and not having those hands-on learning opportunities.
Not being in person was a little bit difficult for me.
I felt that it would be very hard, and it was very true.
I was at Century Arena and seeing my friends in person.
Just somebody there to help you in person, just somebody right there.
We noticed as the few months in the spring went on that our students were really starting to lose some motivation and some energy around, the online learning components.
When you're here, you're immersed in the learning process. And you get a window of that at home through the computer screen, but it's just a window.
Even being on Zoom, it's a different sense of community when we're all on a Zoom call versus being in the classroom together.
He needed to be in the classroom with his team, with the OT, the speech therapist, the special education teacher, and all the assistants to make all that magic happen.
Our goal was always to get us back open for September.
And we had no idea whether or not that was going to be a reality or not. We had to really come up with all of our plans, Plan A and Plan B and Plan C, and information was changing by the day, by the week.
As we started our discussions of reopening and coming back full in person, I have to be honest, it was scary and daunting. We met constantly throughout the summer. There were so many meetings and so many discussions.
One of the things that we worked really hard on this summer with our reopening task force was our reopening plan that we were asked to submit to the state in terms of how we were going to prepare the staff, the students, and the families for returning to school safely in the fall.
Until you start doing it, you don't even realize all the protocols that need to be put in place, even the entrances and how each pod needed to come in their own entrance.
Right away ordering PPE, thinking about what the classroom configurations were going to look like, how we were going to get spacing in the classrooms to maintain social distance, what our protocols and our policies were going to be around reopening.
We kind of split it up. Everyone took a piece that they could focus on, so it wasn't so overwhelming for just like me and Anna or me, Anna and Joe to just try to do it on our own.
We got really creative with being able to develop individual spaces and workstations, making sure everyone had their own supplies and everything that they would need, down to bean bags and pencils. I mean, you name it. We covered all the bases.
And our staff were so wonderful and so engaged in that process. And while it was a little scary, they knew that it was the right thing to do.
So it really was just like an amazing, cohesive community that came together and kind of made it happen.
Knowing that I could go back, I felt really happy. I was excited because I wanted to be back in person.
Because I'll get to come back to school with all my teachers and friends.
That first day when those students came into the classroom, you just wanted to reach out and hug them. It just warmed your heart to see them in person, and it was hard not to hug.
It was surreal. In one sense, it was like we never left. It was like we just came back from spring break with masks and lots of Clorox. But in the other, I think that there was a relief. I think that it kind of felt, some sense of normalcy.
Our students who just, walk the halls smiling behind their masks and are so engaged in learning and so happy to be in school and be with their friends and be with their teachers.
I felt like I could talk to my friends again and finally socialize.
My favorite part about being in person
at Wolf is getting to learn the way that I learn.
If it wasn't for Wolf, I wouldn't be the person I am today. Like, once I came here, I felt like a new person.
Seeing them persevere through this really, really challenging time, and even when things get hard, they show up with a smile on their face.
The children are unfazed by the mask wearing and the protocols. They just roll with it.
And to our staff who, have worked harder than they've ever worked and have worked tirelessly to make sure that they are continuing to meet the needs of every student and to help our students feel successful and to feel safe and to feel nurtured, and it's really been remarkable.
If it wasn't for the staff and it wasn't for your passion for your profession, how much you care and how much you want to make a difference in these kids' lives, I've never been in a better school than this. I've never been part of a community that cares more about the kids than you do.
What has gotten me through this year is the people I work with here.
The teams have been amazing. They've really worked hard, and I know that they've worked hard. I know that it's been such a struggle for everybody to sort of figure this whole thing out.
I think everyone who's here wants to be here. It's not just a job for people. They love what they do, and when you love what you do, it's not a job. It's just something that you get to do every day.
They're really helpful though when times are tough.
I continue to be grateful for the support from our parents and from the outside community, our board, our community members who really recognize and support the work that we've done this year to make school happen and to be in person.
Our parents have been so grateful that we're even open. It's been so hard to not welcome the parents into the school building. We are such a close-knit community. The school feels a little empty without them.
Families, to me, stepped up to the plate, did everything they needed to do, did everything that I asked them of, and I know it wasn't easy. So, I'm so appreciative of our families and everything they've done to keep their kids in school with us and safe.
Parents and families have just gone above and beyond to support our work in the classroom, at home, so that students can continue to learn no matter where they are.
I think I'm just so incredibly proud of our community for being able to do what we've done this year and to have remained in person all year and never, sort of wavering in that.
I think the Wolf School is what a community should be.
And you're rallying around each other to do what you need to do to deliver whatever you need to deliver, whether that's a lesson or whether that's school books for someone who's in quarantine. I think that's what Wolf is really all about.
Thanks for everything, and if we were on Zoom, I wouldn't have been this happy.
I just can't thank the teachers and administration enough, because to us parents, it seems seamless.
I would say thank you so much. You kept us safe.
Thank you so much.
If I wasn't here, I don't know what I would be doing with myself, honestly. So I'm glad that we have a school like this.
I can't say enough about what the school has done to make this possible for all of us and how grateful I am.
When we tell the story of the pandemic years and years and years from now, so much of it will be through the lens of how much Wolf got right and how much they kept our family and especially our son connected and part of the community, and we're just so deeply grateful.
It's because of our incredible community that we were able to return to in-person learning and give our students a year filled with learning, growth, friendship, and a lot of fun. The support we received all year long motivated us to keep going when things got hard and inspired us during a very challenging year. The Wolf community is so much more than just a group of people. It's a family, and that's what makes Wolf really special. We couldn't have done this without you. Thank you for showing us that we really are stronger together. That was wonderful. Thank you to all of our staff, students, and families for being part of this film. It means so much. And a special thank you to Rebecca Bernardo Hartley for always shining the light so brightly on our incredible community. She's the wizard behind the scenes on almost all of our technology, videos, social media, and tonight. Great job, Rebecca. One of the best parts of Discover the Difference each year is hearing from one of our families to learn firsthand what Wolf means to them. It is a special pleasure tonight to introduce Jeff and Judy Carey, the parent co-chairs of Discover the Difference and current parents of Ava, one of our soon-to-be graduates. I want to thank you both for all of your hard work leading up to the event and for saying yes when I asked you to speak tonight, although I don't think you really had much of a choice. Since Ava's time at Wolf, we have watched her grow into such a confident, mature, and articulate young woman. As she graduates this year, we know she will accomplish incredible things in high school and beyond. And we look forward to many visits from the whole Carey family. Although Jeff and Judy have only been parents here for 3 years, they understood the Wolf way the minute they became part of this community. I don't think Judy was here for more than a week before we asked her to step up to help us plan our very first fall festival. From that first moment, they have remained steadfast supporters of Wolf because they not only understood our model, but having a Wolf student of their own, they understood our students and our mission. Jeff and Judy have become invaluable during their time here. They are always among the first to show up to any family event, both live or virtual, and they are always willing to help however they can. I don't know what we would have done without Judy's creativity and insight as a member of both our development committee and our Discover the Difference committee. She also became a favorite with our students when she assisted with the much-loved Pizza Fridays, all before COVID, of course. Our partnership with parents plays such a critical role in the success of Wolf, and there are no better parent partners to be working with than Jeff and Judy. Simply put, they are big fans of Wolf, and their commitment, energy, and passion for Wolf shines through in all that they do. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your family's story. You are a very special part of ours.
Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us this evening for the Wolf School's 2021 Discover the Difference. It is such an honor for both Judy and I to be part of this fabulous event, and we are absolutely thrilled that you could all be a part of it as well. Tonight, we would like to present our family's Wolf story and share with you how the school has played a major role in assisting our daughter Ava in overcoming her challenges these last few years. As many of you know, when you have a complex learner, there are unfortunately no textbooks and no prep courses to prepare you in advance. Ultimately, it boils down to on-the-job training.
As a baby, Ava met her milestones up until the age of 12 to 15 months, and then suddenly, without warning, all of her words and communication skills completely disappeared. As parents, this was absolutely frightening. We often cried ourselves to sleep thinking that she may never speak again. Her communication was inextricably reduced to pointing and grunting. Complete meltdowns became commonplace when she finally recognized her own inability to communicate. We immediately sought out early intervention and all the other services we could find to assist with recapturing her speech. Mercifully, after a couple of long years, she began to speak again between the ages of 3 and 4, muttering a few words here and there. Ava struggled mightily with learning to read from kindergarten to 2nd grade. She would disguise her challenges by memorizing bedtime stories, masking her inability to truly read on her own. In 3rd grade, when kids began to pivot from learning to read to reading to learn, she could no longer hide her struggles. As the reality of her reading difficulties set in, it caused Ava intense anxiety and frustration, and we quickly learned that many academic challenges lay ahead.
As concerned parents, we met with teachers and made numerous accommodations, but it seemed nothing ever worked. After periodically observing Ava in the classroom, we quickly began to realize that the public school setting was not the best environment for her. We then began a widespread search for the most ideal learning environment and interviewed with dozens of private schools. During our search, we were informed by a specialty school that Ava's academic gap was bigger than the public school had initially led us to believe. As a result, they told us they were not equipped to handle Ava's particular needs, but suggested that we check out the Wolf School. We had never heard of Wolf, but we were certainly excited to take a look, and boy did we luck out. It has been an absolute game changer.
Right from the very beginning, it was so apparent that everyone in the school cared very deeply about the vocation of assisting complex learners excel, not just academically, but socially and emotionally as well. Here at Wolf, Ava's situation is not so foreign, and they really do have the secret sauce figured out. The school's immersive curriculum was specially designed to meet complex learners where they are. They start by building a true sense of community, along with a wonderfully inclusive culture where kids with challenges feel safe, supported, and free to speak their minds.
Sometimes even a little too much. Thanks so much for that, Wolf.
During the community building phase, Wolf educators simultaneously begin assessing each individual student to better comprehend their unique needs. Once students are truly understood, personalized curriculums are carefully cultivated to achieve maximum results. Ava entered the Wolf School in 6th grade as a shy, intimidated kid who often struggled with confidence. She is leaving the school 3 years later as a confident young lady. She is outspoken, self-reliant, and possesses an incredible work ethic. Ava understands and appreciates her strengths, and she has developed strategies for managing her complex learning style. Mom and Dad love her dearly, and we are extraordinarily proud of who she has become.
In closing, we have never been a family that believes in equal outcomes, but we have always been very much in favor of equal opportunity. At the end of the day, the world would be a much better place with more Wolf schools in it. Public schools are simply not equipped when it comes to optimally supporting complex learners. Let us never forget that places like this matter, and they need to be supported. On behalf of Wolf, we sincerely thank you all for your continued support, both monetarily and otherwise. It is very much appreciated. As we begin to transition to the next chapter and eagerly prepare for high school, we fondly and humbly reflect on all the love and support our entire family has received from the Wolf community over the last 3 years. To all the dedicated teachers, amazing support staff, incredible leadership personnel, supportive board members, fantastically involved parents, and of course the wonderfully diverse and caring student body, the Carey family loves you all, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for a truly life-changing experience here at Wolf. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff and Judy, for sharing your incredible story with us. That was really wonderful to hear, and I'm sure so many other Wolf parents and alumni parents can relate to your story. We are honored to have been able to share in your journey. Thank you. For so many of our families, time at Wolf doesn't just have a transformative effect on their child, but on their entire family. And while this year's Discover the Difference looks different than past years, our goal has remained the same. Celebrate our community while raising critical funds for financial aid. A Wolf School education is life-changing, and our scholarship fund ensures that complex learners who need the Wolf School are able to access it now and in the future. Tonight, I am thrilled to announce a $25,000 for dollar match for any gift made to our scholarship fund. This is an incredible opportunity, thanks to a few very generous donors, to double the impact of your gift and change the lives of even more students. Making your gift is simple, with options to mail in your gift or make it online. Watch this brief video to learn how to make your gift at the Wolf School. With your help, I know we can meet our goal of $50,000 to provide financial aid for complex learners and change the lives of so many students. So tonight, I am challenging you to make a gift to our scholarship fund in any amount, whether you're making a gift in honor of a current student or past alumni, in honor of a staff member, or just in support of our entire community. Your gift makes a difference. Thank you so much for your continued support. As this evening's event comes to a close, I want to thank all of you for taking the time to tune in and show your support of the Wolf School. It is because of each and every one of you that this year has been possible. And not only that, but tonight wouldn't have been possible without the continued commitment of our corporate sponsors, the incredible generosity of all of our donors, and the hard work and creativity of our Discover the Difference event committee members. I am so grateful for each and every one of you for all of your support. Thank you again, Jeff and Judy, for being here with me tonight and for sharing your story with all of us. We know you will remain fierce Wolf supporters, and we can't wait to see where your incredible journey takes your family next. While it's always sad to say goodbye, the fun doesn't have to stop just yet. Head over to our online fundraising page to purchase a fund need item, make a gift to our scholarship fund, or just simply donate. This is a year we will never forget. It has impacted all of us in so many ways. The Wolf School community is stronger together, and we have never been more grateful for your love and support. Thank you all. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.